Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My dear brothers and sisters, this is another verse from the Quranic Reflections series, and it is also from Surah Al-Baqara. Inna alladhina kafaru sawa'un alayhim a'anzartahum am lam tunzirhum la yu'minun. Whether you warn those who disbelieve of the need to believe, or you don't warn them, they won't believe. The first point of reflection in this verse is, in order for the believers not to be disheartened by those who reject faith, in spite of their clear evidences being brought to them, Allah opens our eyes to a reality which we must accept. As Allah said, you cannot guide those whom you love. إِنَّكَ لَا تَهْدِي مَنْ أَحْبَبْتَ. For Allah guides whomever He wishes. Allah is the guide, ultimately. This is a reminder to us, so we don't become weakened in our efforts to guide others, to show them the way to Islam, to correct their understandings. And after having expended all of our energies trying to get them on the right path, they reject it. If we think of it as our failure, we have just failed. And this happens once, twice, thrice, we're going to give up. It's natural. We're going to feel we're useless. We can't do it. But this is not the way to understand the situation. Our job, as Allah said, وَمَا عَلَيْكَ إِلَّا الْبَلَاغِ. What's on us is simply to convey the message. We cannot make people believe. Allah is the one who provides the necessary consciousness or reminders or pointers or thoughts for, obviously, reasons which are just. Allah is not just randomly choosing people and giving people guidance or the tools for guidance and randomly avoiding others. No. There are factors in each and every one of us which Allah knows about. And He gives to those who it is appropriate, and He doesn't give to those who it is not appropriate. So we have to accept that. Allah guides whomsoever He wishes. The second point of reflection is that this verse is relevant to those who have fulfilled all the requirements for effective da'wah. The requirements which are on the da'i, the caller, the da'wah, which is the call itself, and the mad'u ilayhi, the one who is called. There are requirements. Each and every one of those elements of da'wah, which is calling people to Islam, inviting them to Islam, clarifying Islam to them. On the part of the one who is calling people, there are conditions, there are principles which govern his or her way of calling. For example, we should do so in a gentle way, in a kind way, not in a rough, harsh, pushing kind of a way. Because Allah already said, لو كنت فظا غليظ القلب لانفضوا من حولك. Regarding to the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ himself, Allah said that if you were harsh and rough and that people would have fled from around you. So we should be like Moses and Aaron, who were sent to a man claiming that he was God. Ana rabbukumul a'la, Pharaoh. And Allah told them to speak to him gently. So who are we? We don't have the right to speak to people in a harsh way, expecting to guide them. The call itself, we should also be clear about. We should be clear about the call. What is it that we're calling people to? To us, to our group, our organization, our country, our culture, or no, we should be clear that the call is to Allah. It's a call to Allah, for them to come and accept Allah in their lives. And finally, the person who is being called, there are a number of issues that we should be conscious of. Whether it is calling them at the appropriate time, because if they're busy or they're in situations which are not appropriate, we don't go into bars to call people. We have to find the appropriate timing, the appropriate circumstances. In general, da'wah to individuals is usually more effective than da'wah in groups, large numbers, because people are affected by peer pressure, etc. So try to get people by themselves, in an informal kind of setting, and talk to them in the most friendly manner. So we have to be conscious of the variety of elements which make the da'wah effective, the call to Islam, the invitation, most likely to be accepted. We should be aware of all of these with regards to ourselves as well as regards to the people that we're inviting. The third point of reflection is that we have to be clear on whether our responsibility and what it is that we're trying to do is that of conversion or reversion of people to Islam immediately? Is that what's in our minds, that people have to believe immediately? We've told them so much information, we expect them to accept Islam immediately on the spot. They declare their faith. Is that what our thinking is? No, if that's the case, it's wrong. Because in most cases, people don't convert or revert to Islam instantaneously. It's usually a process that takes place over time. They heard something, they met someone, they read something, and all of these things accumulate and brings them to the point. And we might meet them when they're at the last stage and we only have to say a few words and they accept Islam. But in the first stage, it may take time. So we have to be patient. A very, very important characteristic for da'wah. We have to be patient. Especially when the desired result that we're seeking doesn't take place. It took me personally 21 years for my parents to accept Islam. For other friends of mine, it took them days, weeks, or months. For me, 21 years. Subhanallah. Allahu Akbar. He is the one who guides. We have a responsibility to convey the message. إِنَّمَا عَلَيْكَ الْبَلَاغُ وَعَلَيْنَا الْحِسَابُ. As Allah told us, our job is just to convey the message. Allah will hold the people to account. Barakallahu fikum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.